But
what is the foundation? Tell people what it is, what we support, when it was created, you know, the inspiration behind it, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, it's based in work that I've been doing from 30 years now, based on my upbringing and what I've kind of learned about my upbringing and my African American history, and a lot of work that was done by my sister to discover my own roots and our traces back to slavery, and then finding where our enslaved people were buried, specifically my great-great-grandfather and my great-grandmother, and finding out that they were buried in these woods behind this whites-only cemetery, which kind of hit us in our chest. And then we just kept finding these lines of lineage that kind of painted a picture of our heritage and our genealogy that I just never learned in school. So that started me down a path of trying to share that information with my daughter and with the world, just as a means to see if it could help with the unconsciousness of bias that we all kind of have in some way or another. And that has evolved into just kind of equity work and just taking stories, little known stories, and telling them from the context of a person that his genealogy is out of the African American experience in this country, and retelling that story from that perspective. And so that's what I've been doing now for a couple years now, and a lot of people have connected with it. I think it's been useful, and so I've been giving lectures at a lot of places, Northwestern in Chicago, in Illinois. At Wesleyan, I've given a lecture at a bunch of museums. I've given lectures, some high schools, and it's just an evolving kind of deal, right? The lectures kind of evolved to kind of tell the story of my genealogy, along with stories that I'm finding within the the American context that not people I are related to, but align with my story, right? And so that's what I've been doing. We started the 501c3 at one point because we wanted to be able to fund a monument in a specific town in Connecticut dedicated to the story of a particular individual by the name of Prince Mortimer, an individual that had been enslaved in his whole life, and then at 87 he was imprisoned for life, accused of attempting to poison his master, and then he dies, and we thought he was buried under some lost field, which related to my story, my ancestor buried in these lost places. Well, we're starting to realize that didn't happen. His body actually was sent to Yale for dissection, is what it sounds like. But anyway, we've been looking to kind of tell these stories and create monuments in the towns where these people lived. And that's where I originally needed donation and support. Now it's for a much broader set of people. We've got 12 other people we're researching relative to completely different towns, and we're now working with the state of Connecticut, and the state of Connecticut is helping us kind of drive towards telling these people's stories. They're working with us to create these monuments. They're supporting me in my research, and we've created a whole new thing in Connecticut. Connecticut had the Freedom Trail, just like Boston and Massachusetts have a Freedom Trail, but we've now created a trail within the trail. It's called the Prince Mortimer Trail. The state is supporting, and it's going to be within the Connecticut State Freedom Trail. So it's just a lot of work like that. It's all equity-based. It's all education-based. It's all African-American history-based. And so that's what the nonprofit is. It's all work towards supporting, telling these stories, getting the monument set. And then one additional thing that we're all working on, and Tammy, and that is we're working on one-man shows that we can actually perform at different museums and different locations. And so we've got a theater, professional theater group. Oh my gosh, this is horrible that I can't remember the name of the group now.
It's okay. We'll say we're not allowed to disclose it yet.
All right. Well, we're working with them so that they can then produce a one-man show, and they'll hire actors, and then they will travel the country to tell the stories of the people that we're researching for acknowledgement. So that's what we're doing. That's what's up. And so the Blue Crew helped us out, and they got a lot of people donating to what we're doing. And Tammy and Danielle have been, all, with all the ideas you got with this live thing. I wasn't thinking about that, and are part of the board, and they're supporting everything we're doing. So It's just all love. I appreciate all the help. That's what it's all about. That's what's going on. I'll keep rambling.
Do you want to just tell everyone why we named the foundation the Alex Breanne Foundation? And
Sure. I thought, I was trying to work on the 501c3. I didn't know what to name it, and Tammy had been talking to me about it for a while, and we were trying to figure it out when we were going to start it up. What are we going to name it? What's going to happen? And we didn't know. And then a few months ago, I found out that my daughter had overdosed, and I went to the ICU, and she was non-responsive, and the doctors told us that she likely wasn't going to live. They thought that her brain had so much damage she was never going to come back, but they were continuing to try to keep her comfortable, and they were giving it time and to see what the neurologist would think. And the neurologist came in after a couple of weeks, and he was like, "Yeah, there's no brain activity." So they sat us down and they said, "Listen, she ain't coming back." And we're like, "What percentage of chance? I mean, what is the percentage we're talking?" And they said 0. So they gave us 15 minutes to say our goodbyes. They were going to pull the plug. And when they asked the final question, which is, was she an organ donor? And we went, yeah, she actually was. And they went, oh, okay, well, then we can't pull the plug today. We got to go to donor services. So that's going to take a couple days. And so then we had to answer all these questions about what would she want to donate, her eyes, her skin, her heart, or what, we did going through this long list of all these things that they wanted us to check off. And then they had to run tests on her for like 2 or 3 days. She was going back and forth from her ICU room for tests. And, they had it all set up. They had receivers of the donations. They brought those people to the hospital at some 5 o'clock on the particular day. We were supposed to come in and say our goodbyes, and they were going to pull the plug. And I got a call. It must have been 4:30 from just some attending, somebody that was just there in the ICU. And he just swore he saw her track him with her eyes. And I'm like, wait, what? And so he was like, we should call this off. We should call this. I'm like, so who should I call? He says, don't worry about it. I'll call him. So he called everyone. Donor services is separate from the hospital. So he had to talk to them. And then they called me the next day. You got to understand, it's a little bittersweet, right? Because when they're talking to me, they're a little down, because they had people that were about to get life-saving surgeries taking organs from my daughter to save their lives. And so they were likely there prepped when this whole thing got shut down. So they called me, and I could hear that angst in their voice, but to let me know that, now that they know that there's any possibility that we were kind of out, they weren't going to even, accept us even coming back to say this unless there was something more definitive. I went in for another week after this to see my daughter, and to me, she still was non-responsive. I didn't know what
I remember getting the messages.
Yeah, I'm texting you, I'm about to tear up now, but yeah.
Anyway, your daughter's name is Alex Breanne. That's the point I was trying to drive home.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a little teary sometimes. But anyway, yeah, her name is Alex Breanne. So we decided at that point to she eventually came to, we didn't know what her life was going to be like, and it's kind of evolved now to she can walk. She doesn't have use of her left arm. They had to remove a lot of muscle damage, the atrophy, and they couldn't repair it. So she doesn't have use of her left arm, but she's here, and she's cognizant, and she's herself, and it's incredible. So we decided to name the 501c3 after her, so that it's called Alex Breanne Corporation. AlexBreanne.org is the web address. And again, I apologize. That's me. I'm an emotional kind of guy, but
it's okay.
That's the story.
It's a wonderful story with a happy ending, and I think one that gives a lot of people a lot of hope, especially if they're going through a dark situation. That seems like there's no good outcome. Miracles do happen every day. And where can people get more information? because I don't know how to pin the link. I see Danielle's dropping it into the chat. I don't know how to do that. We'll put a link after, but maybe just give the web address and where to find your page.
Yeah, absolutely. Y'all know my personal page is Run, Lift, and Live. That's where we're at now. But there's an IG account. Alex Breanne Corp is the IG account for the nonprofit, the 501c3. The web address for the site is alexbreanne.org. So Alex, ALEX, Breanne, BREANNE.org. And there you can read about the mission, what our purpose is. You can read about some of the individuals that we're researching. You can get status updates on what we're doing with the state. You can watch some of my video lectures at the various universities and organizations. And you can donate if you choose to. So you can do all that there from the site.
And if you can't donate, you can share the link. Maybe somebody...
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just get the word out there and share it. The Peloton community is amazing. So the more people who share it, the more people who see it. And I think gives greater visibility to this wonderful project.